Hello everyone and welcome to this video where I'll be showing you a few Scourge builds. The recent balance patch brought some interesting changes for the Scourge Specialization. It's seeing a lot of versability right now, and for those reasons I'll be showing you 5 different builds in this one video. I will be trying to go over every build quickly to not drag this video for too long. You can find the details about every build in the video description, so please help yourself and enjoy this video. First one we're going to look at is the Condi DPS. It used to be able to maintain 3 shades at once, at all time. The cleave potential and the range DPS were the things that was making Scourge really good in some scenarios. Now you can only maintain 1 shade at a time, on average, but you do get the full buffs from the Sand Sage and Blood as Sand traits. And they made the DPS trait line of Scourge more powerful. Burning now deals 10% more damage, your F2 skill Shade deals a serious punch of burning, and Torment now deals an extra 8% more damage. Altogether, they reduced the cleave of Scourge by a little bit, but they buffed the damage by a considerable amount. You can still cleave decently with 1 shade in Epidemic, and the burst damage of Scourge is higher than before with the increase of burning and Torment damage input. This is the full build for Condi DPS Scourge. If you already had one, the only thing you'll need to change is the second trait of the Scourge trait line. You want to put middle instead of top. That will make your F2 skill deal a high amount of burning damage. For your rotation, you want to first place 1 shade, then immediately use the F5 Shroud and Blood is Power combo. Then your weapon skills 3, 4, 5, 2 in order. Use your elite skill Plaguelands, and finally you want to use the F2 skill whenever it's up. It's an instant cast, so it doesn't cancel any skills and it deals a ton of damage, so you definitely want to use it whenever it's ready. You can replace your utility skill Summon Shadow Fiend with other skills depending on what you're fighting. For example, you can replace it with Spectral Grasp for more CC, Epidemic for more AoE damage, Corrosive Poison Cloud to block projectiles, or Trail of Anguish if you need a break stun. You can also replace your elite skill with Flesh Golem if you need more CC. And again, I did put the written version of the build in the video description, as well as all of the other Scourge builds mentioned in this video. The second build we're going to look at is the Condi Alac. It's very simple, it's the same thing as the DPS version, except you want to put the bottom traits of the second and third traits of the Scourge trait line. That will make it so that any barriers you give to allies through Scourge skills and traits will give alacrity to them. Most of your alacrity sources comes from the F5 Shroud. It's going to build barriers to allies. Your other source of barrier is F3, and whenever you place a shade with your F1 skill. You can technically have 100% Alac uptime with just the 3 skills, but it is very tight, so I would recommend to take Sand Flare as your healing skill, and you can even take Serpent Siphon as your utility skill instead of Summon Shadow Fiend. One last important thing about the Alac build is that you don't want to spam the F2 skill like you would on a full DPS, because it doesn't have the big damage to it anymore since we changed the trait. And you want to keep your life force for your F3 and F5 skills for the alacrity. Third build is basically the Condi Alac build, but you replace the Soul Reaping trait line for Blood Magic instead. That way you can rest people, give alacrity, and still deal a decent amount of damage. Your F4 skill heals people around you and will teleport downstate players to you and res them a little bit. Your healing skill also reses people a bit, so you can sometimes precast it on your feet as you press your F4 skills to quickly resurrect people. The alacrity is going to be a bit short since this build doesn't have the Soul Reaping trait line, so you will have to take a utility item that gives you some concentration. And I will also recommend running Serpent Siphon instead of the Summon Shadow Fiend skill. You may also put Sand Flare as your healing skill to have more alacrity uptime if it's needed. Fourth build is a very fun one. It's a full Celestial Scourge that can rest people, give healing, alacrity, and still deal a decent amount of damage. I've used a very similar build in various raids and strike missions challenge mode, and it is really good. Even better now that it can give alacrity. The gameplay is basically a mix of all of the previous builds. The barrier you apply are much stronger, to keep your allies safe, and they give even more alacrity since you have higher concentration because of the celestial stats. You can help cover the might uptime of your group, and you can even fully cover the fury uptime if you replace your Serpent Siphon skill with Desiccate. I forgot to mention it earlier, but the skill Serpent Siphon also gives Aegis, so this can be really useful in some scenarios where your group lacks stability, and you can also use it to block incoming powerful attacks from enemies. Finally, the last build I want to show you is a full heal Alac Scourge. Every time you give barrier to an ally, it will also cleanse a condition from them and give them some might. You should be able to easily cover your group with permanent alacrity, fury, and very high might uptime. This build uses the Mercy runes, which make it so that you resurrect people 20% faster and with 30% more health. This is the ultimate build for rezzing people. It particularly shines in fights where people can often go down suddenly or in dangerous places such as Bone Skinners, Velguardian, Slothosaur, or Matthias. And this build is fairly easy to play. You simply give barrier to people and that will keep them safe, give them alacrity, cleanse conditions, and even give them a bit of might. You might want to just slightly delay some of your barrier skills at the beginning of a fight to make sure you have some for later. And whenever someone is down, you can get a bit closer to them if they're far away and press your F4 skill to teleport them to you and start rezzing them. Scourge feels pretty fun to play right now. There is so many different options and viable builds you can play. I really like the diversity. It feels like you can pretty much just roll with Scourge anywhere and fill the need of your squad with anything they need. You can even switch to Reaper for power DPS or Harbinger for quickness. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to make a quick preview of all of the builds, so I hope it turns out okay. I tried my best to make all of the builds as efficient as possible, but if anyone has something they want to share, feel free to post in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!